In today's Our Region's Business Online Extra, our region may have gone green, but it comes after a dark spring for many small businesses as pandemic and later protests in some places shut them down. In the midst of all of this, our partners at Schmidt Market Research were in the field for the latest Our Region's Business Pulse of the Region survey. This one focused more on small businesses and their customers. Kevin Srigley's back with us. He's president of Schmidt. Welcome, Kevin. Good to see you.
Good to be here again, Bill.
Yeah, throughout the pandemic, you've been going out every couple of weeks, taking the pulse of consumer confidence. Let's start there. What was your latest finding?
So just a quick reminder, Bill, all of the waves were done prior to any of the recent protests, so none of this information would reflect that. But what we did see is in our latest wave, which was completed at the end of May, some pretty significant drops, specifically around the employment sentiment looking forward.
And really significant. How do you account for that? Because it's really been a significant change from the way people felt throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, it dropped from about 49% positive sentiment, Bill, to about 19%. And we looked a little deeper into this, and what we saw are a couple of things. One of them is right after we did wave 4, on about May 8th, the Labor Board came out and said that the April unemployment numbers were 14.7%, which are the highest they'd ever been since 1948. So that obviously had a huge impact on people's point of view on employment and their perspective on employment. In addition to that, in between early May and late May, we also had the peak in unemployment claims. So those were a couple of things we believe driving the negative sentiment around employment.
Okay, and this time out you took a deeper dive on small business in particular. Why is that?
Well, small businesses are obviously critical to all of us. They make up about half of all employment in the United States among the private sector. And so we decided this time to look within Pittsburgh Speaks and talk a little bit more to the small businesses in terms of how they're faring as we move through the virus and move through the pandemic. So the first slide I'm going to share with you is really just how they're doing. And quite frankly, Bill, it's not well. We've got about 30% of the businesses in the region that reported. We had about 250 businesses get back to us. And about 30% of them are not in operation at this time. Most of that, as you can see, about 97% of it driven by the virus and what's going on there.
Do you find that people have been doing what they can to help, to support them through this?
Yeah, we really wanted to poke at that because, we wanted to understand how people are feeling about supporting local small businesses, and really got some very good feedback around that. People feel quite strongly they want to make sure that their small local establishments are here for the long term. On the first slide, you'll see between doing as much as possible and doing as much as possible, but understanding the wallet's getting a little tighter, 82% of people really doing everything they can to support small businesses in the area.
Yeah, which is a great thing to see. And it was interesting, too, that this seems to cut across income levels as well as even political attitudes.
Across income levels, we really see people in general doing everything they can. As you might expect, at some lower income levels, people are feeling a bit more belt tightening than some of the folks at the higher income levels, but you can see really folks doing as much as they can to support these local establishments.
And it cuts across party lines as well.
Yeah, we were really happy to see this, Bill. Quite frankly, there's not a lot of bipartisanship going on these days. So we were happy to see that, in fact, there is bipartisan support for small business. You can see here, whether you're Democratic, Republican, or independent, really consistent in terms of how people feel passionate about supporting their local shops.
Good to hear, but still a long road back for a lot of small businesses. In your survey, are there any silver linings as you talk to those owners?
I think the thing that we're seeing, Bill, is a lot of creativity. I mean, people are, the quote goes, necessity is the mother of invention. And we're seeing that with some of the local small businesses. As an example here, you've seen the number of businesses that we surveyed doing business online move from a little over half at 56% to 74%. So as an example, they are not able to do business in person, but are shifting online and getting creative to try and keep business moving, try and get sales where they can get sales.
All right, Kevin Srigley from Schmidt Market Research. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm Bill Flanagan, and that's today's Online Extra.